Okay, so what we're doing is we're recording exactly how to use the TTS Mastertuner. The first step is to get all of the software from Mastertune onto your PC, your laptop, whatever you're going to use to connect to the motorcycle. In my case, it's a laptop that I have in my toolbox. Here's the URL right to Mastertune's homepage, mastertune.net. But that's not exactly where you've got to go. You've got to go to the download section and go to the TTS software updater. So this is the first step. Before you do anything else, you've got to make sure that all the software is on your PC and up to date. It's before you connect to the bike, before you do anything. So if you click on the TTS software updater right here, it'll download, depending on what browser you're using. I'm using Google Chrome, so you'll see that it's downloading all of the files. It's going to download all of the software, probably the most current versions, but we'll walk through how to update the versions. I haven't done it on this machine, so I'm walking through it the first time with you. As soon as you see this arrow, or as soon as you know it's downloaded, if you want to go find it, I'm using Windows 10, so this little icon is a file browser. If you go into downloads, you'll see, let's see, sort by date. There it is right there, software updater. And that's the file that we want. But you can see it right here in the bottom left-hand corner, so I'm going to double-click that. I want to install the software. And it's going to run through the processes of its wizard. We'll accept the agreement. We'll hit next. These are all the updates that it's going to install. This is where on the hard drive it's going to put it. TTS software updater. Click install. So if you go back to your desktop and you can take a look, it's installed this icon right here, the TTS software updater icon. We'll double click this and see what kind of updates are actually required. You take a look here. This is the software that needs to be installed. The updater is the only thing it did install, so we're going to tick off, if I touch that, and we'll tick off all the things that are not installed or not up to date. You see here's the latest version installed. I just installed this, so that's current. I don't need to do that again, so we'll just hit update, and now we'll take some time to see how long this takes. Alright, so it's done installing everything, and as you can see here, these are all the things that it installed now. It's all installed. There's been no errors, but there is some issue right here. And what that is those are the data files. Those are all the current, let's say, configurations or maps that Mastertune has on record, and it's asking us to update them. But if you bought everything from Fullsac, like I have, you'll get the specific map that you need from Steve as part of the deal. So everything is up to date. So what I have to do now is get the email that I'm looking for out here. So here's the email that Steve sent me. It says, thank you for the purchase of your Mastertune, attaches your performance tuning calibration and a software guide. So 2 attachments. What I'm after is this one. So I'll save this one. Let's just put it on my desktop for now. That's the map we need. Because that already done once. So here's the file right here. So I'm going to stick that over here so I know which one it is. Clearly that's the software we're going to use, and we now have everything up to date. our next step is now to connect everything to the bike. So that's what we're going to do right now. So what we've received from Fullsac is the Mastertune module, and we've received a bus cable that'll go from the bike to the Mastertune module, and a USB cable that'll go from the Mastertune module to the computer. And I'll show you exactly how that all gets hooked up. And all of this came with the kit. So let's take a look at what this module, upon removal of this seal, that means you own it. I own it. So this is the blue Mastertune, TTS Mastertune interface, which means, if I'm not mistaken, you can actually buy a second license and tune 2 bikes, but it's intended for use on 1 bike only. Because we're going to take the bus cable with the COM port, and we're going to screw this into one end of the module. Then we're going to take the USB cable and plug this end into that end of it. So this is the link between the bike and your computer. This end will get attached to the port in the bike, and this end will get attached to the computer. That's going to be our next step. All right, so here's our patient again. The exhaust has been fully installed, which you saw in videos part 1 and 2. And what I have to do is remove that side cover. Okay, with the saddlebag removed, we can take the side cover off. It should just pop off. And it does. Okay. Zooming in, if you see this little gray connector, and this should just slide off. It does. So you see there's a slide connector and it just slides in. There's a rubber plug here, and that's what we need. So you take one end of the cable and connect it into there. So I've got it coming across the seat and running into the side of the PC. Okay, we're back at the computer. It's 6:14. We've been messing around with this thing since about 5:28. So less than an hour, maybe 45 minutes. And here's what we've got done. We've downloaded and installed all of the software onto our PC. So all of the TTS software, Mastertune software, is on the PC. We've also unpackaged everything we received from Fullsac. We got the interface module connected to the bike and connected to the PC using the cables that came in the kit. And now we're back at the PC for the next step. And that is, now that we have all current software on the PC, we need to make sure that the interface module itself has no updates that are required. So one of the pieces of software that was installed when we did the install was the TT Interface Updater. So we'll double click this one, and it says no communication detected. Oh, here we go. Now we've got something detected. Connect to vehicle power. So what I've got to do is I've got to connect, turn the bike on. So behind me I've turned the bike on. Not running, just on. And you know, the lights are lit up. And it's connected. The interface is ready to update. It says it's already up to date. So nothing to do here. Good. Now we're going to we'll leave the bike on, and we're going to go to the Mastertune software. This might just take a minute to turn on. Okay, it says, do I accept everything? I do. Search for tuning folder. Well, I don't want any of these calibrations, so I'm going to change the folder. I'm going to go to my desktop because I know that's where the one that I saved from Steve was this one, JWE 800-01. So that's the file that we want, and you can see the information for it. It's a 2018 water-cooled touring bike, 117-inch CVO with air cleaner and Fullsac exhaust. It's got the 2-inch cores, MX header. This is exactly the file that I need. So we'll open the selected file. And then we want to go to programming functions. We're connected. We've got an ECM found. And we'll say OK. So what we want to do is we want to get ECM info. This is our first step. So what we've done is we made sure that the tuner or the interface was up to date, and it was. Then we started the Mastertune software. We made sure we had the map that we want to program the bike with uploaded into the software. And the next thing we want to do is we want to get the ECM info. So we hit execute, and there's the VIN of my bike. There's the ECM PN, the calibration code. The ECM status is good, and we're all good there. So my first step would be, and I would recommend, to pull down this menu here at Command and save ECM calibration. And I'm going to hit execute to do that. There's the stock file. It's got the VIN of the bike. It's going to put it in. I'm going to put it onto my desktop for now. And I'll find a better place to store it later. And I'm going to save it. So let's give it some information. Vehicle model, FLHTKSEANV, 117, 6 speed. This is the stock OEM map / calibration. And you can put anything you want, I suppose. I'll say OK. And it's saving it. Now I'm pretty confident that I'm going to have that original copy. You must turn off the engine switch, wait 15 seconds before starting the vehicle. Okay. I've done that. Now I've saved it. Let's just take a look at where it might be. Use the File Explorer. Open my desktop. And there should be an MTE. There's the MTE file. So I know it's on my desktop. There. It's not a very big file, but it's there. And through the process again, it got back to the Save Restore Program Calibrations. I want to get ECM info. Now I want to program the ECM calibration. And I want to execute. So immediately it asks me if I want to turn this off, if I want the automatic compression release. No, we want to leave that on. Cruise control, we want to leave that on. Cool flow fan, available for 2017 and later, Milwaukee 8. I'm going to leave it because the recommendation is to leave it the default way. The next thing it asks me is if I want to change the odometer or the speedometer calibration. And I suppose if I had changed anything on the bike I might, but I'm going to leave this pulse per minute setting exactly the same. Just say OK. And right now it's programming the ECM with the map from Steve. And I'm not to touch anything. The bike is on. The connection was made. And we're waiting. You can see we're about an hour into this. And the program is complete. Must turn off the ignition switch, and that's what I'm going to do right now. Okay, I've let about a minute pass, and the bike is now off. I'm just going to turn the bike on one more time. So I'm going to make another connection to the bike and see if there's any difference in the settings when I get the ECM information. This is out of curiosity because right now as we speak, yeah, and there you have it. JWE 80001-000. That's the one I believe that I got from them, from Fullsac. So at this point, everything should be good. Seeing as how everything is done, I'll just shut all the software off on the computer. Disconnect the cable from the computer and disconnect the cable from the bike. It's already been disconnected from the computer. Put the little plug back in. There we go, we found the slot. I have had the bike on a tender the whole time because I didn't want the battery to run out while I was doing any of that. There we go. It's on. Like my cable. And there you have it. We've updated the ECM with a map from Fullsac. And it's very easy to do. The whole time was about an hour and a bit. But as they say, if I can do it, you can do it too. Have a great day.